ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Hi
Welcome
guys.
back to Normalist Chicago Residence Summer Edition.
Yeah,
I'm here with
Jadyn.
Benji.
and Carmen. And today we're doing
But I'm a cheerleader. I've literally been waiting for this one. This is one of my
I
favorite movies.
I have never watched this.
Really? Did you like it?
Yeah, I enjoyed
I knew
it.
you would. I knew you would.
It's a good solid movie.
Yeah, for sure.
The
Um,
cast, I was like I
okay,
was
wait, we
like,
can get into that. What have you guys been watching?
oh, oh my gosh.
I've been
I've been
watching a
watching
lot. What were you saying?
you go first. You go first.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I've kind of been slacking since I've been home because I've been working so much.
Mm,
I've been on my Spider-Man grind though. I watched the Tobey Maguire versions. I watched the first one before I left, and then I watched the second one like a couple days ago, and then I watched the third one last night. So that's what I've been
nice.
doing.
Was that the
I've been
first
watching
time
oh
Was it what?
the first time you watched the Spider-Man movies?
No, I think it oh, hopefully you guys can't hear my notifications going off. That was the first time I watched, I think the third one.
Hmm.
But it was the first time that I watched them in like literally so long because I barely remember what was happening in it. Oh my gosh. I forgot my notes. Anyway, yeah. Carmen?
I've been watching Rise of the Pink Ladies, and let me tell you, it's actually so good. I thought it would be corny, but it's not in the
Okay, maybe I'll
least.
watch it. I thought it was gonna
So,
be
What's that
cringy too.
about?
no. It's like Grease, the Pink Ladies. It's
No.
basically like their origin. Oh,
I
then
know. I know
watch
Grease.
Grease.
I know Grease. I know Grease.
Okay, it's basically their like origin story, and they have like a lot of like they cover a lot of topics like gender identity, sexuality, and then just like racial identity. And so I recommend it. I
Okay,
liked it. Waiting for season two.
maybe I'll watch. Benji, what are you even watching?
Um, Let me look at my letterbox. Um,
Yeah.
I have been watching a lot lately because I've been working a lot. But
Yeah.
recently I watched the last movie I watched was J. Oh no. Last night I watched shit, what did I watch? Oh, Yakuza by screenplay by Paul Schrader and Robert Towne. It was directed by Sidney Pollack. And that movie is like this guy's daughter's kidnapped by the Yakuza, and his friend, who's played by Robert Mitchum, called Kilmer, has to go to Japan and like reunite with his like long lost love and like rescue the guy's daughter. But then it completely turns into something else completely. And so it's kind of cool. But it was also like not my favorite movie ever. I also watched J. Edgar, which was directed by Clint Eastwood and was very, very surprising to be directed by Clint Eastwood. Um, and then I also rewatched Goodfellas.
Nice. Period. Should we just get into the movie then?
Yep.
Okay. I can read the summary. We've been doing longer summaries lately, which I kind of think might be helping because I feel like sometimes people don't know what the movies that were.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so for But I'm a Cheerleader. 17-year-old Megan Bloomfield is a happy high school senior who loves cheerleading and dating Jared, a football player. However, she does not enjoy kissing Jared, instead preferring to look at her fellow cheerleaders. This, combined with her interest in vegetarianism, and Melissa Etheridge, lead her parents and friends to suspect that she is lesbian. She is then sent to True Directions, a 2-month-long conversion therapy camp intended to convert attendees to heterosexuality via a 5-step program in which they admit their homosexuality. During the program, Megan befriends college student Graham Eaton. Although more comfortable in her sexuality, she was forced to attend the camp or risk being disowned by her family after her stepmother caught her having sex with a girlfriend of hers in her room. Two of Mary's the camp director, former students, it just says ex gays, Larry and Lloyd Morgan Gordon, encouraged the campers to rebel against her by taking them to a local gay bar called the Cocksucker, where Graham and Megan's relationship becomes romantic. Upon discovering what they did, Mary forces all of them to picket the couple's house, carrying placards and shouting homophobic abuse. Megan and Graham sneak away one night to have sex and begin to fall in love. When Mary discovers their escapade, Megan, now unapologetically comfortable with her sexuality, is dismissed from the premises. Graham, afraid that her continued defiance will result in her father potentially disinheriting her permanently, stays behind. Disowned by her parents and homeless, Megan goes to stay with Larry and Lloyd. The pair plan to rescue Graham and Clayton by infiltrating the graduation ceremony. At first, Graham declines. Megan then performs a cheer she composed for Graham, declaring her love for her, finally winning Graham over. They drive off with Dolph and Clayton, and the final scene shows her parents uncomfortably attending a P-flag meeting to come to terms with their daughter's sexuality.
Solid.
Yes. Someone else want to say director and cast?
Benji, you want to do it?
Do you have the doc?
Uh,
It's okay, I can do it.
It's okay. I can probably do it.
Okay.
All right. So this was directed by Jamie Babbitt. And then the cast, Natasha Lyonne, who I did not know was in this. I've watched like one episode of Poker Face.
I
Don't come for
love
me.
Poker Face.
She did phenomenal. I hope I don't butcher this. Clea DuVall.
Clea DuVall.
Clea
I love
DuVall.
her. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then Melanie Linsky.
I think so.
RuPaul, who I was like,
Yes.
and Kathy, oh my God, I'm gonna butcher this. Mority? Don't know. Also, the guy who plays Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender plays in here.
Is
He's that
what?
one dude. The
Oh,
guy who
yeah.
played Zuko.
I didn't write the full cast. I should have. I only wrote some of them.
But honestly, top tier cast.
Yeah.
RuPaul threw me off, but I was like, makes sense.
It's also like it's like top tier cast before they were really known for being. I mean, RuPaul was already like widely known, but like
Right.
a lot of them. This is like Natasha Lyonne's like one of her first like bigger movies.
Yeah.
Baby Natasha Lyonne.
Baby.
I think. What were your guys' like first thoughts about this movie? Like, or what did you think about it before you watched it? Like, did you guys have any like?
I knew it was about a cheerleader, but I didn't know it was gonna
What
be
gave it
her
away?
sent to conversion therapy camp. Like,
yeah, no, that is not at all evident from the title card.
That's what I love about it.
It's just like so out of left field when it happens. Because I didn't know anything about this movie when I went in to watch it, and everything was just like, oh, okay, that's where we're going with this. All right.
But I think, yeah,
it was just like the setup was so light because it
Right?
highlights the absurdity of it.
yeah. It's like you're like, why is it called that? And then you watch it and you're like, oh, I love movies like that. I don't know. This is one of my favorites.
I didn't think it was gonna be like a comedy either. I actually enjoyed the comedy very much. Like, that's my style.
Yeah.
Cocksucker.
Yeah.
The bar. Oh
It's
my
so
God.
good. I think I watched this movie. I'm trying to remember. I think I watched it for like the first time, like maybe like 2019 or 2020. And then I rewatched it like over Christmas break. It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. My friend mentioned it to me like freshman year of high school, but I just never like watched it until now.
Yeah. I think I don't know if it still is, but you used to be able to watch it for free on YouTube. That's how I watched it the first time.
It still is. It still is.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I'm trying to think like what else. Did you guys like, well, I guess we already kind of talked about that. I was gonna say like how did like before your ideas of what it was gonna be about change when you actually watched it?
I think it's just like a silly, goofy movie, and it like I don't. It definitely is like I wouldn't say one of the first films, but what like a well-known film from like the past that has like that covers LGBTQ characters.
Yeah, we should mention that this is like the next edition of our Pride movie watching.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. I don't know if there's that many films that do that like before 2000.
There
Unless
are. They're
I'm
just
living under a rock.
they're very hard to find.
They're
Not many
it's
of
not,
them are popular.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm trying to say.
We did Tu Wong Fu, and that one was before this. That one was like 9 years before this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest one I can remember, and HBO Max actually put this on their LGBTQ like Pride Month section, which I thought was a little odd. But have you guys seen A Dog Day Afternoon?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily think that that's an LGBT.
I know, but
movie.
what's funny is HBO. It sort of does, but HBO. I mean, in the basic aspect of it, it does deal with that type of thing, but it deals with the character a lot more than like the idea of homosexuality. But
yeah, also like
it was funny that they put that in the Pride section month thing.
I thought that was funny too because like I think that's funny too because like it's just based off a real guy. So he just like happened to like they're just telling what happened. I don't necessarily think that they're like making bold statements about whatever.
Yeah, no, but still, it like details. It has a character in it who is just innately that, and that just affects the story in the way that's motivation.
I also would say like this is one of like the first movies that depicts like queer women. I feel like
that's what I was gonna say. I was
there's like most of the LGBT representation I feel like before like around this time was
more
more
about
like
gay men. So
when was Thelma and Louise?
They're not actually queer. It's just like implied, kind of.
Well, I thought that kind of was the thing, though.
I mean, yeah, but if they're not actually making it like explicitly said, I don't know that they can really market it as a queer movie. Especially like it's more like I feel like queer audiences have taken that movie and turned it into that. I don't know, because like I would watch. I remember I watched that movie and I was like, oh yeah, this is like kind of fruity, but like never is it said or like I don't know. I would say that it is, but it's not like this movie where it's like that's like what it's about. Yeah. Anyway, what were things that we like really liked about this movie? Actually, we should start with dislikes. What did we really dislike about this movie?
Dislikes. I don't know. Trying to think. I like don't have that many dislikes about it.
I mean, I don't really either. It's one of my favorite movies. Yeah. Benji,
okay, house tour, Benji.
Just going to my room because it's getting a little hot outside.
Oh. All right. What do we like about this movie?
I love the color grading. I love the pops of pink and blue, and I think green was in there.
Yeah.
It's just like this house is just like a pop of color, and then like outside is just like brown and bland.
A lot of the color stuff from Cat in the Hat, if anyone felt that.
Yes.
It like I really feel like the set design too, like all of like the pastels, it like really added to like the satirical elements of it. Because it was like you're being invited into this little like community.
It reminds me of like a Barbie dream house.
Literally. And like I still think it would have been a good movie if they hadn't went with like that, but it just wouldn't have been like stylistically as cool. It wouldn't have been like the same, you know?
I also like the pacing of it. I felt like it didn't drag.
How long was this movie?
An hour and 25 minutes.
Okay.
So it's kind of short, but like
I like that.
It didn't drag.
I like the length.
It covered what it needed to cover. So
I like when movies aren't long just to be long.
Right.
I feel like today, like way too many movies do that, where they're like, "Oh, we have to be 2 hours." Like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Don't do that. You don't have to. You don't have to have 6 B plots. All right. Just be what you're about. You know. You don't
Yeah.
every movie has to have, the same things. And this movie was very tight and efficient, and that's probably the reason it got produced. Because a movie like this that like tries to go into too many details about whatever it's talking about is just not going to work. It's only going to work if you keep it simple.
Yeah.
Right.
I watched interviews before from like just like cast and stuff. And apparently this movie was like a really massive failure, or like a pretty
Yeah.
massive failure. Like it didn't, I mean, it doesn't really surprise me, but at the same time, it's
Right.
like I don't think that we look back and think of it as a massive failure. I guess it's why it's like cult classic, but like
And most movies are actually massive failures. When you look at it statistically, most movies fail. So like it doesn't surprise me that some of the failures are actually good.
yeah.
Right.
The critics apparently just really hated this movie.
Just the critics, not the
Always
audience.
the critics. Yeah.
Always the critics.
What else? Is there anything we would change? I can't really think of anything I would change. I feel like
I kind of, not to change it, but like I kind of want to know where the rest of those students went
yeah.
and what happened to them.
I feel like
It's just a question I have.
yeah, I always hate like a flash forward, but I kind of would have appreciated a flash forward. You know what I mean? And I
Would have
think it
been
would have
cool.
fit. It wouldn't have been like that weird in this type of movie.
And
maybe
just like a little update.
yeah, I want to see what they're doing, like or how Megan and Graham are doing in like another 4 years. I don't know.
Right.
I feel like it could have worked in this movie.
It could have. Although I'm not mad that it's not in there. It's just like, I wonder what happened.
Okay, I have a couple little fun facts for us. Okay, wait. So Natasha Lyonne basically like the movie was like the way that the character was written, it was like not suited for her type of acting. Not that she had been in that many things. In an interview like I read, she like basically the only thing that she had really been in, I think something else had just come out, but was Kate and Leopold, and she played like a secretary, which I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. I love that movie, but anyway, she played like a secretary. So they were like, they didn't really think that she could play this type of role, and then she like really pushed for it, and apparently they kind of like rewrote and like reformed the role for her, for Megan, which I think is kind of fun. I like when actresses like, or like actors in general, just like change the role to fit them. What else? Oh, they were given $500,000, but the budget increased to 1 million, which the way that it was written in the thing that I read was like they were only getting $500,000, and I was like, okay, only. But I guess that is kind of more than a lot of
That's shockingly low for a movie. But yeah.
They made it work though.
They did make it work. But whenever I hear people say like only, and then it's still like in the millions or whatever, I'm like, oh.
Right. Yeah, because like the average like cost per minute of a Hollywood production, or even just a regular production, it varies. But for an average production, it's about $10,000 a minute. So it's like insane the amount of money that goes into
that can't be true for like independent films though.
No, not for independent films. No. Or is it? It might be $10,000 an hour, but no, yeah, $10,000 an hour.
A minute would be insane.
You know, I
was adding that up. I was like, do you know how much money
I misspoke? Yeah, I know. But it's about $10,000 an hour. So, that's still like a minute. That's still hundreds of dollars a minute. So, like, the absurdity of it, I'm aware of.
I mean, when you think of it's like if everybody's making above minimum wage and they're or like minimum wage or above, and there's like a cast and crew full of people, that makes a lot of sense. But
because and even with this movie, there were probably a lot of people who just like were like, no, I won't take a salary so that I can make this movie or something like that. That's what directors and producers do sometimes. If they think the movie's gonna succeed, they'll be like, oh, I won't take a salary. I have my points on the movie, so they get a percentage of the gross. But this movie, I'm very surprised if it only had a budget of $1 million. I mean, even failures, it must have made less than $2 million to be considered a failure.
I wouldn't be surprised. I also feel like I don't know. I'm trying to remember what I read. Like I think it was released and I don't know, I'd have to go back and look. It didn't do well at all, but it made its money back now, so
I'm gonna look it up.
um let's see. Oh, RuPaul and Clea DuVall are the only actors on the cast that are on the that are actually LGBTQ, which I think is funny. Isn't that crazy?
Hello? That's
Yeah.
there's no way.
I know. That was my exact reaction.
Hello?
Also, Natasha Lyonne had me fooled for so long.
No, real. I was like, she has to be.
Oh, oh shit.
That's
I love her
insane.
dearly.
What, Benji?
Anything? Anyway, Natasha Lyonne was dating Fred Armisen for so long, like years. And then I read that they broke up because they couldn't agree on whether or not they should get a pool in their house.
I missed all that. My connection like absolutely timed out.
Oh,
Yeah, it says my internet connection's unstable. What the
should go
hell?
outside again.
No, it's been like this the entire time. I've just been staying quiet.
Oh, okay.
I just looked at the gross box office for this movie. It was $60,000.
Um,
Well, it made its money back now, so
it
Worse
didn't.
than
I don't think it went to theaters at all.
I am probably I don't know. I think it had some showings, but I'm looking at the box office numbers right now, and it's just like not looking good.
I read that. Okay,
There
I don't
were
know if it's
showings.
true, so I didn't want to
And
say it.
what
I think it went straight to DVD.
domestic? It made 2 million, and it made $2,200,000.
not
So
bad.
well, for a movie of this budget, you have to make at least 2.5
Yeah.
times your gross no, 2.5 times your deficit to actually make money on the movie. So they
Mhm.
didn't even make their money back.
Awkward.
Yeah.
No, I think it's funny, like especially around this era, like they'll always like I feel like they always hire like straight actors in queer roles. Like before like a certain amount of time, that was always what happened. And I feel like this movie is like on the tail end of like that still happening, kind of.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously it still happens, but like I feel like it happens less now.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, Clea and Natasha. Okay, I have like the background of how they got like their roles. Apparently the director just wanted Clea DuVall to be in this role. She was like one of the first people that came onto the role. But Clea and Natasha had the same like manager. And so when Natasha was just like hanging out, they were just like hanging out and she saw the script on like in her car. So they read the whole script together and then Clea called the director and asked if she could be Megan, which I think is
Oh,
cute. That
that's
doesn't
so
that kind
cute.
of thing that doesn't happen anymore, I feel like. Benji, what are you doing? What is that? Anyway. Um oh my
Friends
God.
helping friends. That's so adorable.
I know. I think that's so cute. And I think Natasha was like 18 or 19 and Clea DuVall was like 20-ish, 21 maybe. Um
Interesting.
yeah. Also the director said this the movie like restarted her career because she was kind of like her career was like plateauing. Even though I guess it didn't have that much success, but I feel like maybe it like in the long run it had enough success that it like helped her get more stuff.
I mean, it's a cult classic that went straight to YouTube. So maybe. Well, YouTube wasn't around obviously when the thing was made, but if it's
I
on
mean, it kind
YouTube,
of was.
I think there's something about YouTube's guidelines that like if a movie makes a certain amount, it can go directly onto YouTube without having to go through a lot of the red tape, like how
Mhm.
John Wick 4 is on YouTube now.
It
But
is.
Right.
yeah,
I haven't seen any of those movies, not even one.
dude, John Wick is such a great movie.
Really? I just don't. It doesn't seem like my type of thing. I don't want to watch it.
I think you'd like it because, like, here's the thing about the concept. This guy, I know we're not talking about John Wick, but I'm just saying the
Okay.
concept is so effective because this guy has done unspeakable crimes against humanity, but you feel for him because his dog got murdered. So you just love him. That's it. That's all you need to do. It's so simple.
That's maybe I'll watch it. I don't know.
You'd
We'll
like
see.
it. Like it.
Yeah. Are you guys
Yeah,
enjoying that? Oh wait, go Benji. What were you saying?
yeah, I enjoyed John Wick a lot more than I enjoyed this movie. Just
Really?
wasn't my
I didn't think it's not your type of movie.
Yeah.
wasn't my thing.
Understandable.
I almost fell asleep halfway through. I was
Yeah.
just kind of like I was just like this movie was for someone, it's just not for me. You know what I
That
mean?
doesn't surprise me.
Understandable.
I knew that Carmen would love this movie, and it's one of my favorite movies. I just love a satirical little, I don't know.
I love the humor of it.
Yeah. It's also like, even though like romance is like the center of it, like it doesn't feel like it is, if that makes
Right.
sense. Because it's like
And I
it's
don't
so
like
like
romance.
I
And
know you don't,
this
but I
was
knew you
just
would like
like,
this movie. It's so lighthearted
mhm.
and like the comedy is still so present even when they're like focusing on the romance part that I feel like it doesn't feel like you're watching like a romance movie.
Right.
Yeah. But you still cheer for them.
If I could
Really?
use one word to describe this movie, I would say fluffy.
Yeah.
Real.
Especially with like the set design and stuff. Yeah.
Fluffy,
This
kid-like.
that makes this the second LGBTQ movie we've watched for Pride where RuPaul has a cameo.
RuPaul with facial hair, I didn't recognize him at first. I was like,
Me
oh,
neither. And then I was like scrolling the cast while I was watching the movie and I was like, wait, was that RuPaul? He always just pulls up out of nowhere.
I didn't even see him in the movie.
He's like the boys coach, dude.
Oh,
Isn't
okay.
that funny?
I did not look anything
yeah.
yet.
And then he's like
It's not in RuPaul attire.
totally opposite of his personality too. I'm like,
Oh, that was another thing, is that like the thing in this movie is that everybody plays the opposite of like who they are. So like yeah, RuPaul plays like the conversion therapy dude. Natasha Lyonne always plays characters that are like sarcastic and like
badass, like,
yeah, and her playing like the little spunky little
right? I was like,
girl. I love it. Yeah. I don't know.
so
It
good.
makes me want to rewatch Poker Face, even though she's very different in that role. I just love
Is
her.
that any good?
I think you'd like it. It's
Okay.
about
Okay, that tells me all I need to know.
what do you mean? No, I just think
Nothing.
I
Just the
think
way you said it. Just the way you said it. I know. I know.
I think you would like it. I don't think that you would think it was like the greatest thing ever, but I think you would thoroughly enjoy all of it.
Mhm.
So I think you should watch it.
Yeah.
I'm being serious. I think you would enjoy it. I also think you should watch Russian Doll.
Mm.
Everyone should watch Russian Doll. It's
Mm.
so good. Anyway, what else? Do you guys have
Letter, oh,
Oh yeah, letterbox reviews. Would you guys rate this movie?
4.5.
What did I rate this movie? Oh, I also rated it 4.5.
Oh
Benji,
God, you guys are gonna hate me.
would you rate it?
Let me guess, like a 2.
Yeah,
1.
exactly.
You haven't even rated it on my letterbox. I don't see your thing
Yeah,
coming up.
I'm a little
You rated
behind.
it a 2?
Yeah.
Benji, your reviews are kind of off sometimes, I feel like.
I just feel like we have different taste.
I mean, yeah. I won't bring up Across the Spider-Verse.
You can. Go ahead.
You rated
Sure.
it 3.5 stars.
Yeah, it was fine.
Okay. I
I
think
And
really
that's good.
liked
I understand the 3. I understand it.
I'll tell you why though. There was
okay.
things I really liked about it, and there were some things I just really didn't. I felt like the pacing was way off. I felt like it was just so weird. I didn't like how they set up the cliffhanger ending. If you're gonna do a cliffhanger ending, you still need a sort of resolution. like how The Empire Strikes Back did it. Like that's how you do that. If you're making a trilogy and you have the second movie, that's how you do a cliffhanger ending.
But why
I
does there
thought,
have to be a rule about how you do an ending?
because there is a rule. There is a thing
Says
that
who?
works. There are things
This
that
is
don't
like a
work.
franchise
This
that,
is
or
not
like,
not a
this is
says
like
who issue. This is not a
they
says who issue.
purposefully, the whole movie is like them doing things that they don't have to do. Why does that not extend to this?
Because there are some things that there are rules because they work and they don't work. That movie did not work. That's not
I
how you
think you
do it.
would be in the minority about that opinion.
No, because
But
people, I'm gonna give it to them. The animation was spectacular. It's some of the best
Mhm.
we've ever seen, and it's only gonna get better. But if you're paying that obscenely much for a movie, the animation better be amazing. So I don't give them a lot of credit for that. But you know, that is good. The animation was great. All the action sequences were great. The comedy was usually pretty okay. Um, I felt like they utilized all the characters well. It's just the structure and the pacing was my main problem with it.
all right.
And I can go into I should have like done a huge letterbox thing on it, but I just didn't feel like it.
Oops. Well, that's all right. What would we rate it on? What would we rate But I'm a Cheerleader on a 10 star?
On a 10,
Yeah,
probably like an 8.
I think me too. Maybe an 8.5.
I like a 3 or a 4.
All right. Fair enough.
All
All right.
right. That was our review of
This has
But
been
I'm a
But I'm a
Cheerleader.
Cheerleader.
Yeah. Our second Pride Month
Our
themed
second Pride Month
episode.
installation. I wonder
Mhm.
what we'll do next.
Falsettos.
I don't
Even
think
though
I'll
it's
be
a
in that
musical.
one.
I've got
Oh, yeah.
It's a
True.
musical, but there's a pro shot of it. Just
Okay.
the storyline. It's good.
I
So
don't know if I'll be in
something a
it, but
little
I'll watch
different.
it.
But yeah. Anything else we want to
what we're
say?
doing next. Do we know what we're doing next?
Falsettos, the musical.
I saw that when it came out.
You did? Like live?
No, like well, I thought like how they have the Fathom events in like theater.
Mm-hmm.
So like once a musical releases or it gets video recorded, then they do a few weeks of it in like an actual theater where they record it and like put it in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did.
You saw it? Oh,
Yeah.
I love that musical.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
I have a lot to say about it. But
I know.
anyways, we
I
have
can't
like
wait to
two
see you on
minutes
that one.
left. So
All right.
Okay.
Well, yeah. All right. Still a
Perfect.
let's
valuable.
wrap this up.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Stay tuned for some more LGBT Pride movie content.
Follow us on all social media platforms under the name of Normally Chicago Residents, including but not limited to YouTube, Spotify, and Instagram.
Isn't it limited to? Isn't that all we have?
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
But
perfect.
yeah,
Go get some hot Cheetos now.
Bye. Okay.
have fun,
Bye.
guys. Good night.